This is
John Paul Mantilla.
And I'm Ray McGuff, and you're saddling in for another episode of SchlockFest.
So you've all missed us.
We had technical difficulties and had to reschedule this SchlockFest, so now we're back. Tonight's feature is
the wonderful 1997/1998 classic SpiceWorld.
SpiceWorld. God. Ugh. Yeah. So, fun fact, I actually saw this movie already, and I'll tell you how. Back in 1998 when this came out, I had an aunt in the 90s that used to take my sister and myself to movies when we were kids. And I begged her to take us to see Terminator 2 in 92, I believe, when it came out. So, long story short, my sister got overridden. So the next time that we went to the movies, she was supposed to pick. Well, we moved away. When we came back in 98, this movie had just came out, and this was my sister's pick because my aunt wanted to do the movie thing again. So I have seen SpiceWorld as a 17-year-old male. Now we're revisiting it again for me as an adult. I just remember it being not good. So many things terrible about this movie. But
and you say terrible. Your wonderful aunt took you to see this wonderful piece of art.
I think she was entertained. She liked music. And I liked the Spice Girls at the time. That's the thing.
Okay.
You couldn't flip on MTV without seeing one of their videos, and they had catchy songs, and they were kind of hot. I mean, Melanie C was Sporty Spice, and she was kind of ooh la la. And Victoria Beckham, I don't think she was Beckham at the time, what have you. And then Melanie B, who was also just stunning.
And Jerry Halliwell.
Jerry Halliwell. And then there was Emma, and I'll talk to you later about why I have a problem with Emma. All right, so again, this came out in the UK in '97. It's the Spice Girls take on A Hard Day's Night, which was a Beatles film from the '60s. The movie was made for like $50 million, didn't we say?
Yeah, something like that.
Let me check here. Well, we got the
that's right.
the fucking
the
Buzzeroonies who
the internet. Please chime in. Let us know how wrong we are.
Yes, internet guys. If you got time to sit around and tell me how much the budget of Spice Girls are.
And I would love to hear from you.
1998. Budget was $25 million.
Ooh, see, you're wrong.
So
already.
I was wrong. I doubled it. So it's $25 million. It grossed $151 million worldwide.
Worldwide, that's a lot of money.
And DVD sales were $100 million. So it actually made $250 million plus on its whole run. It has a 35% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It should have a higher one.
Yeah.
Hey, I haven't rated it yet on Rotten Tomatoes.
Right.
With all my gazillion emails, I'll make that boost go higher.
Was there a couple of things you wanted to say on this?
I've got some great fun facts about the Spice World. Did you know that Spice World came out on Super Bowl weekend?
I did not.
Yeah, and that was Super Bowl weekend. It broke a record to being the highest weekend debut for the Super Bowl. I mean, that's pretty awesome because nowadays you release movies, they're not going to do as good as Spice World.
Right.
It made 10 million, almost, let's say 10.5 million, just because I want to round up and have fun with it.
Right.
So, yeah, it might have gotten negative reviews. So what? It was still really good. It's got a wonderful cast. I mean, the Spice Girls recorded a whole album while filming this movie. So they were double dipping. How awesome is that? And like we said, it has a good cast. Like the Spice Girls, you mentioned all of them.
Uh-huh.
But Richard E. Grant, I'm going to shout out to my boy Richard E. Grant. He's in Star Wars Episode 9, mystery character. I wish the best for you. You've been in many, many of things. You're a wonderful actor.
He's probably like a random space lieutenant.
Look, I don't care. He's awesome. Roger Moore.
Roger Moore.
Great
Alan
Vaughn.
Cumming is in this.
Yes.
The great Bob Hoskins is in this for 15 seconds.
Yes.
As well as Norm from Cheers.
George Wendt.
Meatloaf. And then our boy Richard O'Brien, who we were talking about.
Yes. You'll know him from Rocky Horror.
Yep.
And he was also in the unofficial sequel, Shock Treatment, that I may or may not make you watch. I may actually make him watch it. It also has Mark McKinney from The Kids in the Hall.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Mark
and
McKinney.
Other fun surprises that we'll get into.
It's a odd film, as was A Hard Day's Night. Stephen Fry's in it. Elton John's in it for a second. A wasted Hugh Laurie, in my opinion.
He's awesome in it.
But I just want to give a shout out to our producer Frank. He sent me this the other night and told me to say this on our recording.
Ooh, we got a plug.
We have, and this is crazy to me, we have listeners, Jean-Paul, I don't know if you're aware of this, in the United Kingdom and Sweden right now.
Oh, in the United Kingdom. So they're going to
love this.
Us doing SpiceWorld.
So I want to give a shout out to the 108 listeners and exclusively in the United Kingdom and Sweden.
Hello, all of you.
Thank you for finding us on Spotify somehow. Keep on listening. We'll keep making these for you as long as you're enjoying it.
I will continue to torture Randy.
Comment in the sections below, after we're done, and tell us how you found us and why you like us. All right? So, without any further ado, we're going to dive into this masterpiece.
Masterpiece!
We will be back. Stay tuned.
When the world is in trouble, when our future is in danger, we call upon one man. But when he's busy, he calls 5 girls. Columbia Pictures presents The Spice Girls.
All right, we're coming.
In their film debut, Victoria, Emma, Mel B, Jerry, and Mel C. They're ready for action. Girl power. They're dressed to kill.
Do you want that shaken or stirred?
And thoroughly prepared for any encounter. It's a story of love.
I think with boys, you should be able to just wheel them in.
Yeah, and order them like a pizza.
Yeah, no cheese.
Compassion.
It's really too hot in here. I need a fan.
And misunderstanding.
When the speeding melon hits the wall, it's Christmas for the crows.
What did he say?
I haven't a clue.
That's more like it. This January.
Would you like an hors d'oeuvre?
No. But I'll have one of these pie things.
Make your choice.
I like the blonde one. No. Sporty.
Rock your world. And spice up your life with the Spice Girls. SpiceWorld.
Yeah, but can they act?
Blah, 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 girl power, feminism, do you know what I mean?
All right, and we're back. So I made Randy watch this wonderful SpiceWorld.
Oh, God. Well, that was an hour and 40 minutes of my life I'll never get back.
It wasn't that long. It might have felt that long to you because I made you watch it through the credits.
And I don't know how many times I'm going to tell you this.
93 minutes.
I was not singing.
You were.
I was humming along.
Let me tell you guys.
A little bit.
He admitted that he knew the Spice World or Spice Girl songs. I didn't know how much, to the extent he's singing along, he's dancing. It was like cabaret in my basement.
Listen, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. It's catchy. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, and then you said 2 becomes 1, and you sang all the other Spice World hits.
All right, so let's give an overview of the film as we do.
Wonderful overview.
Opens with Spice Girls recording, or they're practicing, rather.
No, you're going way too ahead.
Oh.
It opens with an homage to a James Bond movie.
Oh, that's right.
With dancing, little imagery and silhouettes, and then them at a live concert singing beautiful 2 becomes 1. which got really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, right off the rip, Scary Spice has a tongue ring. We all know what that means in the 90s.
That she likes to pierce her tongue.
She enjoys, having jewelry in her mouth.
In her mouth, yeah.
I want to also say that I forgot Meatloaf was the bus driver in this film. For some reason, I thought Bob Hoskins was. But no, it's Meatloaf. That's right, folks. Meatloaf was gearing up in the 90s for a huge series of films. And he did. He was a fucking good actor for a while. I don't know why he dropped off.
He was a good actor in the 70s when he did Rocky Horror.
Well, that's debatable. But
there you go.
He was pretty good as Bob Has Bitch Tits.
That's right. Bob had bitch tits. Shortly after this movie came out, So
here's something I want to say too, real quick. The movie opens with it doesn't say based on a screenplay by or written by. It says based on an idea by Spice Girls. That's the dumbest fucking thing. That means that somebody was just sitting around at one of their shows and they're like after in the green room like, hey, you know what? You guys should do a movie like Hard Day's Night where you're being chased around and you're on a tour bus. That's an idea.
That's a great idea, I bet they said. And they said, how can we make it?
Somebody give us $25 million and we'll do that.
And they did it.
Jesus.
And what's interesting about this, from inception of making this film to actual release date of this film, how long would you say that would have been? A couple years?
No. I would say for something like this, probably 6 months, 8 months tops.
40 days.
Shut your mouth.
40 days.
40 days.
40 days. And here's another fun fact. Director of this movie made That Darn Cat.
Oh, wow.
Do you remember that movie, The Darn Cat? The remake? Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, so that's some good directing.
Well, let's dive into the Spice Girls here a little bit on the talk about the movie. So is Jerry like the whorish one? Is that the joke? That's the running theme in this?
I wouldn't say she's a whore. She's popular.
It just seems like she's always like referring to herself as being very whorish. I don't know. It just seemed weird to me that she kept all of her jokes that she directed herself were about how many dudes had run through that vagina.
I completely disagree.
All right. Well, and then onto my other question and my other rant that I said that I'd bring up earlier.
Randy's high horse.
Yes, my high horse. Is Emma slow? Or if she's not slow, then is she sexualizing a child? Like, is that her thing? Is her perception? The perception of her? They call her Baby Spice. They literally call her Baby Spice, and she's like what's supposed to be a sexualized version of like an 8-year-old, or is she just slow? I just don't like. Her character makes no sense to me.
Please comment below. Please.
Yes.
We really want to know.
Comment below. Let me know what you think. Yes. I think it's weird. I think that out of all the stuff the Spice Girls did, that persona is probably the weirdest thing to me. It just makes no sense.
But they're going to tell us what they want, what they really want.
She's innocent? Is that the thing? And if she's innocent, then why is she constantly sucking on a lolly and holding bears and talking in baby talk? It's weird. It's fucking weird, guys.
To all of our British fans, they'll let us know.
Yeah. So anyway, as the movie is trucking along here, the movie is basically the girls are on tour after this point, right? Their bus drivers, Meatloaf. Their terrible agent is Clifford, who's played by Richard Grant, we were talking about earlier. And he's forcing them to go to these different shows and things. And he's being forced by Roger Moore's character, the Chief.
The Chief!
Now, Roger Moore has some pretty freaking fantastic lines in this movie.
Yes, he does.
One of my favorite being, and this is a quote, "Leave the pigeon alone." If you've seen the movie, you'll know what I'm referencing. I was laughing super hard. It's just like random shit with him in these cut scenes where he's saying like odd spy stuff, you know?
He is playing all of the villains that he fought against in his Bond movies.
Right, which is really cheesy and funny. I mean,
quite entertaining.
It's schlocky as hell.
It's Schlock!
But so Roger Moore's got a great line. Then, as we go, we're getting ready to gear up for this tour. We're introduced to the sixth Spice, played by Nekio Mori, and her name's Nicola in the movie.
Nicola.
And she's the sixth Spice, Preggo Spice. That's what we were calling her.
Preggo Spice.
Old Preggo Spice. And she's the friend that's got no talent and just is a hanger-on, really. And she's kind of like the group mascot. And she is pregnant, and that's the running theme, is like she can't go do a lot of the stuff with these girls like she used to be able to do because she's pregnant now. I mean, am I wrong on that?
You're not wrong.
Okay.
We did miss some characters.
Well, I mean,
Alan Cummings plays a...
yes, that's right. I'm sorry.
Dictator... What do you call it?
Dictor?
No.
Duck.
Somebody who does documentarian.
Documentarian, yeah.
Yes.
He's a documentarian. He's documenting the Spice Girls tour that they're heading on.
The World Wins.
Yeah, and he's like playing it really Alan Cummings style, like hardcore dick. You know,
he's a good actor.
He's a good actor. No, I like him. Don't get me wrong, but that's his go-to is being a prick, and that's kind of what he's doing.
He was a nice guy when he was all blue.
Okay, yeah, that's right. He was the best version of in X2 and
Nightcrawler.
Of Nightcrawler. Yes, I like Alan Cumming. I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just saying like his go-to though is to play a smarmy asshole, and that's kind of what he's doing in this. So he's in Richard O'Brien. Well, we're not introduced to those guys yet. Barry Humphries was the other guy, right?
He was like the mean Mr. Mustard guy from...
yes.
Callback.
Yeah.
What am I doing? I'm doing a callback to that other wonderful podcast that we did before.
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
You'd like that, didn't you? Yeah,
I still have nightmares about them butchering some of my favorite Beatles. So.
You loved it. But you sang along to these songs, so I think you like this movie a little better.
I sang along to these songs because, like I said, they were on MTV every day of my life from the 90s on.
So we must thank who for that? Your aunt or your sister?
Probably my sister, because my aunt was indifferent. She could have saw anything that was...
Shout out to Cassie Walton.
Yeah, shout out Cass. Cassie! Thanks for making me watch Spice Girls.
Thank you very much.
And also, shout out to Cassie for getting us to watch Sister Act.
Oh, okay.
That was another good one that we saw. Good call on that one.
See, you just admitted this was a good movie.
No. I was being facetious.
Oh.
But Sister Act was good, though.
All right, so we'll go back to this. So what else happens in this wonderful movie?
So now we're gearing up. Preggo Spice can't go on the tour, so they're saying goodbye to her.
And it's sad.
Because
she like was the missing Beatle, so to speak.
Hugh Laurie is wasted as a flashback joke in a scene too that's connecting everything, because they're showing him as like some school teacher or something like that.
Some weirdness.
Yeah. And he's just in it for like a brief second or two, but so the movie is basically moving along, and so they have to go on tour. Well, Barry Humphries' character sends out this dude who's played by the guy from Rocky Horror to kind of throw a wrench at their tour and fuck it up on purpose.
Richard O'Brien. He's a paparazzi.
So they go. The Spice Girls start to go on tour. They first go to Italy, right?
And I think that's the second stop.
Okay, second stop. I forget. The first stop was... The first stop, they did a very quick show somewhere. I don't even remember where.
It's all right. Just go.
Yeah, so they did a quick stop. And, that show went really well. And they said they had the party. They said goodbye to their friend. And then they went on to Italy. And in Italy, they had this crazy, weird... thing where they had these this argument where they're going to have backup dancers, and they're male backup dancers, and the guy wanted them to be like shirtless, but it was like overshadowing the girls, so they compromised and gave them assless chaps.
And that's when Randy said, "I know this song."
Yeah, I did. I said, "I know this song." They're like, what song was it though? I forget.
Assless chaps.
It was assless chaps. But so the Italy thing goes off without a hitch. They didn't really want to go there, so they're jet lagged. They fly back. There's no bathroom on this tour bus too, which I thought was weird. Remember, they stop in the woods.
They
to take
stop
a piss?
in the woods, yes.
And this is where the other weirdness occurs. This whole movie is just full of like vignettes stitched together. But they have this weird.
It's Hard Day's Night.
Yeah, it's a Hard Day's Night. But they go in and in the woods. Before they do, though, Meatloaf pulls over and they're like, Meatloaf, why don't you fix the fucking bathroom on this tour bus? And he goes, I would do anything. I love those girls. I would do anything for them. But I won't do that. Oh no.
So we finally got the mystery of the Meatloaf song, I would do anything for love, but I won't do that.
He won't fix the toilet.
He won't fix toilets.
But they go off in the woods to take a piss, as you would assume these women would. And I don't think for a minute that they would, but they go in the woods and these aliens come down from, outer space.
Did you say aliens?
They were aliens.
There was aliens in this movie.
Yes,
okay.
That's correct. The aliens come down from outer space, and they want fucking autographs. It's just making me laugh because it's so fucking stupid. They've clearly got rubber masks on. They spent $0 on the budget on making these aliens look even plausible. They want autographs on their little tummies, so they autograph them.
But they want to go to the concert.
They want to go to the concert, but they can't get them in because it's booked. And, the fucking Jerry Hallwell, she makes out with one of them. Super weird. It just drags the movie to a dead halt at this part. It's like, what in the world is happening here? So then they go back on the bus, and
they want to take a break.
So they go to this, like, military dance academy
to
take a break. And it's run by this guy who's kind of like Pee Wee Herman on crack. He is the most wound up military dude I've ever seen in my life. He's dancing around, twirling his shit. He's got white shoes on. He's twirling his cane. He's going to tell them that he's making them the best dancers ever. And then instead of like doing some actual dancing routines, he makes them run through this like military course. Which is super weird, because Posh Spice refuses to do anything that makes sense. So she puts on a super tight posh dress and just walks the course with
her heels,
her stilettos on. It's at this point where I'm literally cringing because I want this movie to be over. I'm just like, will you fucking make this movie be done? How much longer can this possibly go on? And they're doing this like girl power slogan, and not there's anything wrong with good, especially in this day and age. The girls need to have girl power, but again, these are all stereotypes. So what's it matter? So they go back at the end of the night to this mansion that they're staying in with the military guy, and it's like a Scooby-Doo episode. There's like a haunted toilet and a Friday the 13th. I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
They do a Friday the 13th homage. They all get in the same bed together, and I know where you guys think this is going, right?
Wrong.
Scared women.
Wrong.
Girl power.
What happened?
Scissoring.
No.
That does not happen. Am I allowed to say that? Hashtag scissoring? I don't know. Write me in the comments if you think that I shouldn't have said that. But it doesn't go to the logical conclusion, which is lesbian five-way.
Instead, they get frightened by the paparazzi
Yeah,
guy.
the paparazzi guy pops up and takes photos of them, trying to ruin their career again. Not happening. They're the Spice Girls, man. So, now, they're on the last leg of their tour. They're leaving the Scooby-Doo mansion. I forget, they didn't... Baby Spice says something really weird, like, men don't show emotions. And I was like, shut up. What are you kidding me? Like, Baby Spice, the one that's the worst stereotype out of all of them, is going to talk about how men don't show emotions.
Randy really got hurt, and he showed his emotion.
Super annoying. I'm like, just out of the blue, I'm like, oh, you're going to have the worst stereotype attack men in this scene for no reason whatsoever. There's a PS1 on their tour bus, which gave me super nostalgia. PS1 classics coming out, I'm super excited about. Then as they're driving on their tour bus, they had this contest where these kids are going to ride with them on the tour bus to the last leg of the tour, and they just stop the bus, and out of the fucking blue, they steal a boat.
They didn't steal it. They asked politely, "Can we get on your boat?"
But they go out, they drag these kids into the middle of the water. They're not licensed for a speedboat. These are the Spice Girls on their way to a concert, and they get on this fucking boat, and they drive super fast with total disregard to the children's safety.
Think about the children!
Yeah. And then the children fall out of the boat. There's this whole boat scene they're singing. You feel free to chime in anytime you want here.
So, during this epic battle scene with the boat and the space, it's to add drama and suspense and intrigue to this wonderful movie. And to drive you nuts.
It seemed to me like it was like, oh, we need something to connect it to the next vignette. Let's have a speedboat chase on the River Thames, which was weird because it looked dirty. I wouldn't get in it. The river's weird. But
now you're just alienating our other fans.
I'm sorry, UK fans. The River Thames, is it dirty? Write in the notes. Write in the comments below. Looks dirty to me. Looks like a river that... I'm from Ohio. If you guys aren't familiar, you can Google Maps Ohio, okay? Then I want you to use Google Maps and put Indian Lake, Ohio, okay? And then zoom in into that and look at that. That's where I grew up, in that area. Our little man-made river, Indian Lake, looked cleaner than the River Thames, which had many historic battles. I'm just saying. I don't know what you guys are doing over there. I guess we don't really have room to talk since we have President Cheeto in office, and he's literally destroying our environment. But you guys may want to do something about the river things. Anywho.
Yes.
So now the Spice Girls, they almost killed children. They get in trouble for it. The guy tells them that they can't do, the manager tells them that they can't do shit from here on out except for come to the show the night of the big show and finish their tour. And the Spice Girls say, listen here, pal, we do what we want because we're the gosh darn Spice Girls, and I'll do what I please. And they're like, yeah, we'll do what we please. And they leave the stage because they're like practicing. They leave the stage. One by one, they yell at him, and he's being unreasonable. I don't think he's really being unreasonable. I thought the whole movie he was being unreasonable up until this point, because this is the antithesis. This is the end of the line. It should be the best show.
But they wanted,
and it's the one they're the less worried about.
They wanted to take some time because they heard Preggo Spice was about to give birth.
That's too bad. In my opinion, hey, sometimes shit happens, man. You know.
But they care about her.
So they care about her. So that then they do this fucking weird thing where they go in the montage. Each one of them remembers the first time they all got together, and Preggo Spice was there. She wasn't pregnant. It was at this coffee shop, and this weird coffee owner was like, yeah, I believe in you girls, and when you get famous, you can pay me back for all these coffees that I gave you. And they each have a flashback to that guy. And they remembered how important Preggo Spice was because she had the boombox that made the music happen. And she was like talking them up. Oh, my girls are the best singers in the world. Blase, blase. So then the guy's like, okay, well, hit the boombox and sing. And they sing their first rendition of Tell Me What You Want, What You Really, Really Want.
And Randy started singing along.
And I did. I sang along a little bit because it's catchy. Yeah, as they're singing, you're like, oh, look at all that raw talent. That didn't really happen.
That didn't really happen?
You're like, oh my God, give me a fucking break. How many times are we going to hear this song in this fucking movie? At any rate, so you see now why Preggo Spice is so important, because she's like the glue that she was like their biggest fan. She's she's the lady in misery.
That's not true. That's not true.
She's their biggest fan. She's the glue.
She wasn't a fan. She was a part of the band.
She's a part of the band. She's the talentless part of the band that was just like, go get it. I was that part of a band myself back in the 90s. I didn't play any instruments, but I could carry shit, and I had a shirt that said staff on it. And I used to get into the shows. But
nice.
I was basically their Preggo Spice for a band called Enemy of Mine.
Does that mean I'm Preggo Spice to you because I have a Ray McGuff shirt?
That's true. That's right. You're my biggest fan.
I am your biggest fan.
Stay
tuned.
That was weird.
Stay tuned.
But anyways, so this whole montage goes on for a while with them singing and dancing. Then Preggo Spice does go into labor, and the guy's like, "You got to go to the show." And then there's this whole weird thing. I don't know. It's just like they're deciding whether or not it's important to go to the show, and the Preggo Spice lady is like, "I'm having this baby either way, so you guys should go to the show." The guy that's still trying to ruin them is still trying to ruin them, right?
The paparazzi.
Yeah, the paparazzi guy. But he's failed miserably. Roger Moore says, "Hey, they got to go to the show or your career's over," to the agent. So he's hoping they'll show up. Everything's really riding on them showing up to the show. Crazy little side note was that if they don't go to the show, they'll probably still do all right, But they decide that they are going to go to the show because that's what the fans deserve, is them to sing. Then, as the show is getting started, the manager is having a meeting with
George Wendt
and
Mark
McKay about the movie itself. Like, hey, we should make a movie out of this. And they're like, how should we make this movie? And Mark McKinney basically goes through everything we've already watched.
So the movie becomes meta.
It becomes meta at this point.
You thought Deadpool did it, right?
Yeah, huh? You should see SpiceWorld. They actually go to the hospital. At the hospital where their friend's having a baby, this kid's in a coma, and Jerry Hallwell, talking about her tits, brings him out of the coma. So that was a neat little side thing. But the whole time, George Wendt's like, "All right, I think this movie sounds good." And then there's a chase scene with the bus. And George Wendt's like, "Oh, I think that's going to cost a lot of money." And then he goes, "Nope, fixed it." And he closes his eyes. And the bus chase scene basically is this little, like, it's like a toy car going over this tiny little model. So it was pretty funny. So they're pitching the whole movie. The Spice Girls are on the top of it for some reason in this chase scene, and then the little model car goes over the bridge, and they're racing to the show because they got to be on time. And everybody says, "Oh, all right, well, we should make this into a movie then." The Spice Girls show up. Alan Cumming shows up to do his documentary. The manager guy calls Roger Moore, and he's like, "I knew it would all work out." And the Spice Girls come out for their final performance.
Spice up your life!
Spice up your life.
And then, as the credits roll...
Yeah, so it's this montage of... the guy says something really weird to me, too. This needs more jazz, which I thought was funny. Elvis Costello showed up as a bartender at the end. You remember that?
But then as the credits roll, it becomes even more meta because the Spice Girls then talk to Randy.
That's right.
They actually say, "Hey, you, the guy with the glasses," and she was pointing at that guy.
Also, I have to re-say something too. I forgot this part. When Yoko has the baby, I mean, other Spice, when she has the baby, Baby Spice says, "Now that's girl power."
Yeah, Pregnant Spice.
And then remember, she had that weird jumpsuit on too.
It was weird.
Yeah, that said girl power, but it was like her butt. I don't know.
Yeah, Jerry Hallwell, beginning of this movie, a really sad placement of the female symbol right in her butt crack. Yeah. I don't know why, but it was there.
It was there. So as the credits are rolling, the actors that are in the movie are actually interacting with the Spice Girls, asking how they should portray their certain characters and things, and it's even more meta than you. And it really just goes to show you how much money they did not spend on this movie. All the money must have went to the people cameoing, because nothing in this movie, they just filmed it on a tour, you know what I mean, and cameo guys showed up. That was it. My takeaways at the end. Songs are still catchy after all these years.
So you really like the Spice
The
Girls?
women in this, the women are just gorgeous women. I mean, we were looking at pictures of them from IMDb from then and then from now, and they're still gorgeous women. They're everything about what they were trying to do is good, especially in this era. It should have been done better, maybe, but I get what they were doing. They were trying to do a Hard Day's Night for young fans, mainly women, and I get that.
And they did a good job.
They did it, and they pulled it off because there were some laughs.
So you really like this?
I did. I hated it with every There was nothing on my Wednesday night that I would have rather done than this. Would be a false statement.
But you sang along in honor of your aunt and your sister.
Yeah.
You should say how much you really love the Spice Girls.
I don't love the Spice Girls. I remember my sister having, I think she had the CD, and I borrowed it from her once and listened to it, and it wasn't terrible. But in my defense, I only had 2 female CDs at that time, and one was Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morissette, and No Doubt self-titled.
So UK
Don't
listeners,
speak, I'm just something words.
UK listeners, if you have a thrift shop or a junk shop and you happen to find a large, you're an extra large, an extra large T-shirt of the Spice Girls, please send it to Randy.
I would be really curious.
He will wear it.
I really wish that
and I will take
could
the
talk
pictures
to our UK listeners and Swedish listeners directly. I really wish that I could know if these girls are as popular in your area at that time as they were here. Was it really a thing, or were we just as Americans getting tricked into enjoying some pop light that you guys just sent across the ocean or the pond for us? I mean, tell us about it. If you're a UK listener, chime in. Let us know what your thoughts were on the Spice Girls in the 90s. Were they that big a deal?
Anyone tell us.
Or
it doesn't
anyone,
have to be UK listeners.
I honestly don't. Because I was super into heavy metal and grunge, and then I would listen to some shit like this, and I'd go, "Oh, that's catchy." But
then he'd dance around in his room.
I usually tuck my ween first, but yes, and I'd say, "I'd fuck me, I'd fuck me, I'd fuck me." Are you about to say that?
All right.
No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, I would tuck my ween. Anyways, what are you going to do? Like at the end of the day, was this a phenomenon like people wanted to remember it, or was it just, mass-produced garbage? I don't know. Am I rewatching of this? I think I'm leaning towards the latter. I think this was just mass-produced. Virgin Records found something they thought they could fucking ride the coattails of. So.
But, without me making you watch it again, you wouldn't have experienced all those wonderful memories of going to the movies with your aunt and your sister.
Well, I wouldn't. I remember it from time to time because it's fond memories, and it wasn't like a whole lot. We did it several times in a couple of summers.
So.
But yeah, it was one of my fonder memories as a kid. My aunt, she loved movies and she loved the theater experience like I do, and I know you do. I don't think that'll ever change for me. I know a lot of people enjoy sitting at home nowadays. I don't think there's any, in my opinion, anything better than going to experience something in a dark theater with a bunch of strangers who you all have nothing. Everybody doesn't know what's going to happen. And I don't think there's a better feeling, really. But
Except watching the Spice Girls.
Nothing sentimental. But, yeah, we were watching it in your basement, which was weird. But this has been this episode of SchlockFest. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, leave comments, queries, questions in the comments section below, or feel free to email the Zombie Takeover email. That's easily accessible. And next month is Halloween. We'll have something special for you next month.
Yeah. And I'm gonna make a promise to Randy.
Mm-hmm.
This will be the last musical for a little bit.
I appreciate that.
I will be toning down the musical. We'll go back into horror for the month of October.
Yes.
And I will torture you with fun-filled horror.
So let's stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, for SchlockFest. Check out all of our other episodes on the Zombie Takeover channel, as well apparently as Spotify.
Our
UK listeners.
iTunes. We're also on iTunes.
Our UK listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. And God, I really wish I could talk to you directly and get your take on. If you've got any comments or you've got suggestions for something schlocky that we should check out, leave it in the comments. Email us, all right? I've been Ray McGuff.
And Jean-Paul Mantilla.
Thank you again. Stay tuned.